I'm Richard Ashworth, and you probably reckon you're a dog. And if you were born in 1946, 1958, 1970, 1982, 1994, or 2006, you're probably right. But be careful about when you reckon the year begins, and realise that your day, your month, and your hour with different nuance are at least as important. So if you were born on the monkey day, for instance, monkey day, dog day, if you're born on the dog day, then you will very much have the qualities of the dog, but someone might have to get to know you to know that. Because your day stem, that is the element that qualifies the branch of the day, so if the day is a metal monkey, the metal is the stem and the monkey is the branch, is very much who you are, and the branch is your true partner, whether that feels like a great idea or not. So that's the day. If you were born in the month of October, Chinese October, something like the 6th or 7th of October, it's the beginning of the solar month of the dog. These influences and all these kind of trends will be true of you in your education, in your family life, with the children you grow up with your siblings, with your peers, with your exes, and in the work environment. So that's the thing to look at. If you were born in the hour of the dog, between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m, they will relate to your children, your dreams, your unspoken thoughts, and so on and so forth. So all of those pillars, which can be drawn up for you by a Basi master like myself, are important in getting some idea of who you are, where you came from, and where you're going. I'm teaching this stuff all the time via Zoom one-to-one, and I'm also doing Basis via Zoom one-to-one, and I will draw out a great deal more from all four pillars in those circumstances, and you'll learn all sorts of things that you would not otherwise have known. Recording outside is a mixed blessing. So what is a dog? The dog is yang earth and a byword for faith and consistency. Terriers and Rottweilers are as fierce as they are loyal. In medieval heraldry and Renaissance painting, the greyhound symbolises constancy. The downside of this is that, like Donald Trump and two of his three predecessors, i.e. not Obama, naturally, they can take some moving on. And the primary force in the world in the third decade of the 21st century is the eclipse of the post-war era, which opened in the fire dog year of their birth, 1946. So in a particular sense, we are in the age of the fire dog, which is just completing. The search for a new beginning in which humanity has some chance of survival is the counterpoint to this. It's what's superseding it, and if it doesn't, we've had it. In some senses, it's the opposition. Only rejection of the dogma of perpetual growth, which continues to ravage the planet, offers an escape, because the belief in perpetual growth as being the only benefit that a country can aim for, forgets that the earth is round and its resources are limited, and we have to get a good deal smarter than that. You may be absorbed with that very question right now, but the dog remains naturally conservative with a small but stubborn C. The dog doesn't like to change, doesn't like to move. The dog is yang earth. Dogs revere tradition like a mountain, like a damn great pile of something in the middle of the road. They do not like to move, and they are potentially blockage. That can be good, of course, if you're blocking something that needs blocking. Dogs revere tradition, tend to have a strong family background. They're big on family. They are loyal. They like the domestic life. You know, the fire dog likes to lie by the fire. The water dog, you shoot a gun in the air, it'll bring you a partridge. You allowed to shoot partridges? Well, maybe not a partridge. Grouse? Pheasant? Anyway, if a dog commits to something, they can generally be relied upon. They can generally be relied upon to see it to completion, for better or for worse. That's yang earth. The difference between male and female dogs can be that the female gets the message quicker. Interesting to note that Kate Middleton and Prince William are twin water dogs of 1982. A very solid match, because the yang earth sign, the dog is pretty immovable, an ideal best friend or protector. So these two are, whatever appears to occur to the contrary, first and foremost, good friends. So you can tell a lot about a celebrity simply by the year. So that is an example of that. When I was asked about that question when they were on a break back in, 20 years ago, And we'll see where that goes in the future, of course. The dog's thinking may not always be flexible, but when he gets an idea, he really gets it. He sticks with it and he won't change. That's Yang Earth for you. His natural grouping is with the hunters, the horse and the tiger, where the apportionment of task is obvious. The horse provides pace, the tiger frosty, while the dog watches the rear. If more people studied Chinese metaphysics, more workplaces would zing, because we would understand these things and have people play to their strength. Sometimes people's strengths are not the strengths that they have been aware of or that have been obvious. In business, the horse will tend to be a salesperson because they're outgoing, they like attention. The tiger, the closer or credit controller, because they are ruthless, not necessarily in a bad way. And the dog, the provider of after-sales service, or for instance, HR department. The dog will defend you. The dog excels at service because he never gives up. He will return your phone calls and keep that appointment. He's the friend who sends a card every birthday and the spouse who remembers every anniversary, when it is. He's the charmer as well as the tweeter at dawn. The dog, perhaps surprisingly, also mixes well with a gentle diplomatic rabbit. The rabbit schmoozes, while the dog ensures that her openness is not abused. He makes a wonderful bodyguard, obviously enough, and middle manager. A dog employer will generally have achieved that position by sheer hard work and will demand the same from all around. The dog doesn't like the dragon because he's such a smarty pants, and also the dog hates success without effort, and he sees the dragon create with such apparent ease. So you can see the man crush between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin set out for you there. Donald Trump hopelessly jealous of Putin because he does such astonishing stuff so effortlessly, which is not to say, by the way, I'm endorsing him or I think he's a good bloke. I'm just saying he's some kind of genius, and that Trump was totally enamored of him, regardless of what they had on film. Doesn't much like the snake either. The dog doesn't much like the snake, and the rooster is altogether too flashy for the dog. Dogs don't really like, demonstration, display. The dog would resent the horse as well, except they're scrupulously loyal to their own team. And just as an aside, it's a principle of yin and yang that opposites coexist. So some dogs will express these qualities in the omission rather than the observance. Some dogs will be a pushover, and it will be very painful for them. But that doesn't mean they're not dogs. This makes some little sense of Donald Trump. An unbalanced dog is a bit of a shop steward. He knows his rights and the way things should be, often the way they always have been. An unbalanced dog, such as one with an October or mid-evening birth, i.e. 3 dogs, if you're following me, is rigid. An unbalanced dog is rigid, will not move, cannot change their position. Those recent US presidents in a downward progress of de-evolution, bottoming out at Donald Trump, have been champions of stuck, male, white, wealthy privilege. Make no mistake, it may not be very clear very soon, but the fire dog, the post-war dispensation, is over. The smart fire dog has already become mentor and confessor. And there are details about this that become very clear if you start applying Qi and Danjia to this, by the way. That's a pursuit, mentor and confessor, pursuits at which the dog can excel. The shallow dog, of course, may never see this mentoring. The dog will often have a strong spiritual agenda because once he has a belief, he can't move on from it. And if he has a blind spot, it may be the inability to tell the difference between religion and spirituality, or spirituality and therapy, or New Age practice and snake oil. Because this means he sticks to his guns, the dog is suited both to New Age therapy and religious persecution. Being persecuted and persecuting. He will not be thrown off by the opinions of others once he is committed to a line of action. The unbalanced dog can be thick-skinned in matters of belief. This dog would be ideally suited to being a Grand Inquisitor. Bazi of Ignatius Loyola, perhaps. I have not done that. The problem is that her motto is do as you would be done by, and she thinks that's what's actually happening. Resentment is a trap so easy to fall into. The dog can work well with other dogs and even with the pig. With the pig, he shares a love of home and team, and they're so different they don't crowd each other. Sometimes a dog and pig can be telepathically close. This is because they are adjacent signs in the calendar linked by the Yang Earth that is a feature of both. But sometimes this Earth is expressed by complementary delusions. Consider Trump an Earth pig, born-again misogynist Mike Pence, Pig is gipsat, that is delay and obstacle to a dog. So the pig may appear a good proposition, but very dangerous to a dog. They'll tend to get in the way. So a dog-pig marriage would be very fraught and likely, like the Trump-Pence administration, to end in tears. And a dog-pig marriage, not that unusual, because they're just about the same age. They may have been in the same year at school, for instance, but could be very, very uncomfortable. The pig doesn't particularly mean to, but sabotages the dog, or may mean to, but sabotages the dog. The most powerful and demanding role the dog can play is in a creative team, including the irritating dragon, the autocratic ox, and the soft sheep. That is what is called the literary combination, the four earths. Some people interpret that as being sickness. I think they're wrong. I think the sickness may be any three of them. Four of them together are incredibly powerful, but it involves getting ducks in a row. And when I teach this, I go into a lot more detail about that one, because it's possibly the most important combination to know about the four earths. Certainly the key to money, the four earths. If the dog acts as conscience and bookkeeper, the ox will relax, the sheep toughen up, and the dragon acknowledge someone else for a change. If you're a dog recruiting for non-executive directors, take note. What is great about the dog is that if he finds advice that works, he will adopt it as if it were religion. Bless him. As for the unbalanced fire dog, well, that period is pretty much over. We're changing horses. So that's the dog.